Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hedging Lee with a morning update for Bitcoin. So here we have the five waves up. I initially had the five waves here, the fifth wave, but I raised it because it looked like a much better impulse as a whole. And the degree of this correction, if this was one of three, the degree of the correction was just too deep. So therefore, I made it into one. I kept the one, two, raised the three, and then the four. And he was a very nice small impulse for the five. So this correction has already gone well into the zone of the wave four. From three to four is the wave four zone. So it pretty much has met that usual guidance requirement where after five waves, the subsequent requisite correction retracement reaches to prior wave 4. And that prior wave 4 guidance target can also usually mean to the very bottom of wave 4. So can this go down to the very bottom of 4 at around 8,483? Yes. That is the usual retracement point. But then again, usual doesn't mean certainty. None of this in elite waves is based on certainty. It's all based on probability. I am in the process of trying to aggregate data of how often does it and how much does it retrace for wave 2 or an ABC or flat or zigzag. And once we can get that, we can generate statistical um, values that would provide a more of a refined guidance for cryptos, because you cannot necessarily always use the guidance values that were generated using stocks and just cookie cutter apply it to cryptos. It doesn't work that way. The reason is because stocks have very different personalities compared to cryptos, and the guidance generated by the equity side is not necessarily transferable to the cryptos. So ideally, it is best to generate customized, um, personality-specific guidances. Therefore, this we are on a 30-minute. If this was an A, B, there is that probability of this being a zigzag, where we have the A, B, and it'll come all the way down to the below, to the low point of the 4. Now looking at how Bitcoin had taken prior corrections as being ABC, ABC, very three-wave-ish, would pretty much tell me that, if at all, this will be an ABC. Now, you got to bear in mind, I've consistently said there are 36 possible combinations on a corrective pathway. Every time the price changes, there's another 36, 1 in 36, whatever pathway they might want to take. Which is why trying to count and pathway generate a corrective mode is very, very difficult. But as the price progresses, you usually can generate and get an understanding as to which direction it'll take and which pattern. For example, here, by the time it goes down and up and turns down again, you can kind of be ready to say this is a zigzag because you've already counted 5 waves down. I'm counting 5 subwaves down. Let's check it out. Because if this 5 waves down tells me this is a zigzag, most likely, so that'll be a 5, 3, 5. I rarely go to the 5 minutes, but I want to see if I can see 5 waves down right here. So if we count this, subwaves of A, if this is a zigzag, we should see 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, am I absolutely confident that this is a zigzag? There is no certainty. I feel I would be highly confident in the probability of this being a zigzag. So this B has to have 5 waves. So here of, I'm sorry, B has to have 3 waves. A, B, and the C is going to complete anytime soon, I think. And then the 5 wave will give us the final, the C wave will give us the final 5 waves. So this becomes a 5, 3, 5. So once we see the completion of B, we'll be able to see the 5 waves, the subwaves of C. Ideally, this is how it'll take. But having said this, even if we have this much clue, where we almost have A and B almost done, therefore next will be C wave, it can always turn into something else. And here's the thing. If it shows its hand a little bit more and becomes a different pathway or different pattern or a different count, maybe this could become a triangle of some sort. Maybe you can have a mini WXY as a subwave. Whatever it becomes, you change and update to it. You have to be ready to be able to change on the dime as soon as you see a different pathway coming out. Now here, this means that maybe we'll go even slightly lower than the wave 4 bottom. And if that's the case, no worries. Now, this could be the ABC of A, and then there'll be a B, and then there could be another big C. That's another one of the 36 combination possibilities. But we can't project that yet. We don't have the data. What we can do so far is an A, B, likely zigzag, 5, 3, 5. Now, last night, I had put out a pattern of an upward pointing wedge. With the evening update for Bitcoin last night. And this showed that likely there will be a minor correction. I had also pretty much able to see that if it goes further up, it'll be a wave 5, and if so, it'll be an ABC correction of some type. The key question is this where the toppy top is for this bounce? Is this the end of the bounce and it's just going to go to new lower lows? I don't think so. And the pattern evidence that I see to base on that is if you look further here, you can see a fractal of it, like so. And price declined in ABC. So here was another upward pointing wedge that declined. Now the thing I like about this wedge that declined in ABC, but it stopped here and then started going higher. Now here, ideally, if we can continue up above 9,451, where this target is equal to the height of the target here. And I had drawn this horizontal line before as the left shoulder, head, and then the right shoulder. If we can breach 9,451, that means we've got a series of bottoming price action from a pattern perspective as well. So that is the, let's say, the probable case. The only alternate scenario from a fractal perspective would be if you look at this here, it fell completely through. But what I like about this here is that it didn't completely fall through to a lower low like it did here. And like it did here, lower lows continuously, or stairway step downwards. However, we see that there was there was a retracement of, and then ABC, up, ABC, and then up, and then generate a lower low. So here's up, ABC, up, ABC. Could there be a lower low? I don't know. I don't think so. But that is why that is an alternate count for me. The fact that price breached the upper line and sat on it as support, and it might come one more time to sit on it as support, to me has quite a bit of bullish indications. Therefore, if we can go and have the price go towards the 9,451, maybe something like this, maybe bounce off of it, and then breach that line, it would be very bullish if we can do a higher high, which is what this line represents. And it seems pretty coincidental, but makes sense, and that this head and shoulders pattern could actually coincide with generating a higher high potential. And again, if you look at the volume, this volume is slightly higher than that. But what I will do for now is use this, then most of the volume, and this. So without this one peak, it would be getting a very nice volume confirmation. It would not be a perfect volume confirmation. No. Now this is 30 minutes, so hold on a second. The 1 hour shows pretty much the same thing. Okay, let's go back to 30 minutes. So if this can do and execute this pattern, afterwards would be getting some pretty exciting fireworks. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Morning update for Saturday. I'm usually always an early riser anyway, so if you have any, and I'm very happy to do this every morning. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll try to put up a midday update later today. Have a good weekend.